All righty. It is noon. Let's go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. I see we got some people still joining in. Welcome to the daily Lunch and Learn. And I'll go ahead and get things kicked off here right now. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So welcome to Lunch and Learn. If you're new to this or not familiar with what we're doing here, this is just a time where a couple decisions folks like myself or people in different parts of the company and experts in different areas will come sit on a call for an hour and answer really any questions you may have. So I'm here to talk about really anything you want. Feel free to start thinking through questions or things you want to ask of us. Post them in the chat in the question and answer panel, and we'll answer those as we go through this time. But if you are new, what we do is every Monday through Thursday from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern time, we have this open available call. There's no structured agenda or plan. There's things that I can talk about, things that I'm happy to talk about. But really, it's time for you to come ask questions of us, either about the product or how to do something, or if we can do something, the future of decisions, those sorts of things. So that's what we'll be doing, and that's why I'm here. So if you don't know me very well, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself just a minute. I'm Eric Wolmerink. I've been with Decisions for about 8 years now, and I've been on every single team. I went through it. I've been on every single team except the sales team. Although I did do demos and part of the sales engineering process for a while. So I've seen a little bit of everything. I've built projects, both big and small. I actually wrote some code back in the day. I helped write some documentation. I did our training for a number of years. And then now I'm here to be part of the product team. So what I do currently, what I offer today is I work closely with all the product engineering and the head of the product team to go through and help drive product direction. So I'm a proper product manager now. I kind of help make sure our roadmap's on track, that I meet with customers and partners and understand that we're adding features and things to the tool that answer and solve problems and provide value. And so I'm in charge of a lot of the roadmap stuff. So you may see me kind of dive into some of those topics today, as it's something that I really greatly care about and want to do a lot with. So yeah, wonderful.
Hi, Eric. Good
Hey,
morning.
good morning. Yeah, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Okay. So, Eric, I have one scenario where I have a multi-tab page, a form, which I wanted to download in a PDF, but I feel challenges there. I'm unable to download multi-tab forms. It is only downloading, and that is also not very beautiful. It's very ugly PDF it is showing.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into decisions. Let's take a look. Where's my local install? There we go. Sorry, I was playing with assignments a minute ago. Okay, so you have just a normal decisions form, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I need a spot to build. Lunch and Learn 427. Let's create a form. We'll call this multi-tab. You have multiple tabs on this form, right?
Yes.
All right, let me go ahead and just add that here. Tab container. I'm just going to leave the default tab 1. So on tab 1, let's put a text box. I guess I need something else inside of here. Hold on. That didn't work. I don't want it to fill the whole tab. Let's put a grid. Where's my grids? Grids. There we go. Grid on tab 1, grid on tab 2. All right. So tab 1, we'll put a text box right there. And we can call this, I guess I should give it a name. TD1. And then here we'll put a date picker, or date picker is easy. Date picker 1. All right, cool. So you want to download this form, right? That's what you're trying to do. Is this, so you're trying to download like the preview of it, or where are you trying to download this form?
Okay, so basically whatever the data filled by the person or the customer, so we give a functionality to download those. the details.
Okay. So download the details from what the person outputs from the form.
Yeah, so whatever the content he filled, or whatever the data it is there in this multiple tab form, all those details I want in one
Okay.
PDF.
Got it. So you would normally do that through the flow, right? Like I'd have a flow here, calls multi-tab form. This is the thing that actually controls the data around like what goes on in a form. So we'll go pick my existing form and say go. I'm not going to specify inputs to these, so we can ignore those. So I don't have validations. Perfect. Let's just run. So I run. I have like, this is text. I go to tab 2. I fill out a date. Any date, I guess, and say go. And the output of this is what you're trying to like download or put into another place, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So how are you expecting, or like what is your expected download? Like, are you trying to get like an image copy of this form filled out, like where you can actually see the form and the fields that were filled out? Or are you trying to just like put the data into another PDF? Like what are you trying to do with these variables?
Okay, so basically in that form, we have
Mhm.
various fields. Sometimes it is text field, sometimes it is date field. So all this kind of details are there,
Mhm.
and we wanted to download that. So it will look and feel wise. It will be kind of similar, whatever we have in that.
Okay. Yeah, so here's, I think I understand your request. Here's the challenge, is that we don't have a way currently, and this is actually an interesting feature request. We don't have a way currently to say like download pre-filled out form unless that form was part of an assignment or like a process view. So I can't like, as part of my process, take the output of this and download it as like a filled out document, a PDF. That would be actually really interesting. I'm thinking about that now. But also I think with multi-tabs, I think we have another error. So the other way that we do kind of do this, I'm gonna go on a little rabbit trail as I kind of think through this feature request, is if we put this in something like a tracking folder. So I'm gonna need to create a process folder. Let's just, I don't think I need a full data type. Let me just create a process folder here. If I set up a process folder, very simple. We'll put it in my existing lunch and learn folder. That's fine. The name we'll give this is Eric Test. In the description, we can ignore. Then now that I have a process folder, if I make this an assignment, I assign it to myself and we give it, nope, at least one assignment. Did you not take it? There it is. I assign it to myself, give this thing a name. We'll call this test and an action name, which we can say, okay. All right, there's a reason I'm doing this. Hey, bear with me. And now I run this flow, creates my process folder, gives me a task. If I fill out that task and say, hey, and I say some date in the future, and I complete it. Now we do store, because this was a completed assignment as part of a process, we do store the form as it was filled out, but it's only in decisions. I think if I download this, I don't think, yeah, the problem with this download is it only gives me the image, a PNG image of whatever tab I'm currently on, which is not really what you want. You really want some completed, like you want all tabs to be represented in the completion of this, right? Okay. So in short, yeah, and it shows me that tab 1. Okay, sorry, I don't know if you can see the image that I downloaded. I was looking at it. It might be on my other screen. So in short, the answer is no. We don't have a good way to, from the output of a form, download like the filled out form data as something you can represent. And secondly, there's kind of two parts to this. The second issue is that we don't have a way to do that with multiple tabs. So there's kind of two issues here, right? Let me think about this. I think there's a reasonable feature request here to, on the output of a step, a form step specifically, where you fill out a form, to say like output completed form. I'm making sure we didn't add this and I just don't know about it. And so on the outputs here, you would have your data, like the, my date picker one data, my text box one data. And then I could also click a checkbox that says, output PDF or output image of form, and it will give you that completed form image as a output variable here. Would that solve what you're actually trying to do? Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent.
I think no, Eric. You got me right.
I lost you. Is that what you said?
Okay, so I'm saying that yeah, so that details will be in the PDF will be all tab. Maybe one tab details in a one page, and after that it can be having the second tab details in the PDF. But
gotcha. But you're wanting this data out as a PDF. Is that correct? Okay. So I guess, yeah, and we don't have a way to do it now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up, sorry, I'm taking notes on my other screen, a feature request here to do a couple things. One, I think we need to allow like a print view of a form as output data, where I could go to the form step and say, like, give me the print view, kind of what I showed you on that process view. Give me the filled out form data, because that's you want a PDF or you want the data printed out in like an image with the fields filled out.
Yes, very
cool. So that we don't do that, and I think that's something we can do. And I think the second piece is a consideration for that, and it's a different feature request, is how do we enable that for multiple tabs?
Yeah. Yes.
And so when I output that data, it would have to be organized, or two separate images, or however that's going to look. And I don't know what that would look like. But somehow, if we have a tab container, we need to consider that when outputting the PDF from here. Cool. Okay. Well, bummer. I can't solve your problem today, but what I will do, and let me take your name down as well, so I can follow up. I'll open up a ticket as soon as this call's over, and that's you're lucky I'm on the call, because I am the product review or product roadmap owner, and we'll look at getting that on the roadmap. I think it's a reasonable request, and I think it's something that, since we already do with process folders with completed forms, I don't think it would be terribly difficult. But again, we'll have to go through some analysis and checking on our end and put it on the roadmap and put it in the releases. But I like that feature request. I think it's really, really, really clever. So I'll let you know. I'll follow up with you after we're done here.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome. That'd be cool. Sorry, now I'm just like, I'm playing with it in my head, and this completed form view, just to have that as a downloadable thing, not when it's time not to process folder. I like it. Cool. All right. Wonderful. Anyone else have questions, feature requests, ideas, those sorts of things? Yeah. Looks like someone raised their hand. Sir David, if we want to, can I unmute you? I don't know if I'm
I think it gave me the power when
Perfect.
I joined. So awesome. So quick question. I'm trying to deserialize an XML file, like y'all's settings XML file, right?
Okay.
So to start with, I went to create a type from XML.
Okay.
Created that type, and then create a flow to load file, get string from bytes, and then deserialize using the step that it generated. And now I'm getting it, when I try to deserialize, it hits me with a little error that says it can't recognize a type. And so I'm wondering, if
Yeah,
there's
what's going-
something that I did wrong there, or if maybe you can point me in the right direction.
Yeah, do you want me to walk through it on my screen, or would you want to share your screen? We can look at
I
yours
don't
together?
know if we can share on this thing,
Gotcha.
actually, so
All
I mean,
right.
it'd probably take you 30 seconds to recreate that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go get a sample XML samples. Come on. Note.xml. Perfect. Small, easy. Like there, I can just steal it from here. Okay. So yeah, we have a small bit of XML. And so what you did over here is you created a type from that XML.
Yep.
Gave it a name like
Yep.
note, because that's what it's already called on the primary node. XML, what is it? It cannot be used as XML. Oh yeah, from a flow. Oh, that's fine. I don't need a namespace here. And say create. So yeah, now we have a simple data structure. It does two things just for the knowledge of people on the call. When you create a structure from XML, as it creates the XML structure, and then it should also create a simple structure tied to that. So now I can go look at it. If I need to make changes, I can. So if I go into a flow now, call this XML deserialize, we have a couple XML steps that either can take text and serialize it to my type, or take my type of data and deserialize it. Wait, the other way around. Yeah, deserialize it from text to my type. Yeah, that's how it works. Oh, that's flow. Oh, that's my flow. I would have just called my flow recursively. That would have been very bad. Okay. So inside of here, sorry, I just thought of something.
Is that the same as generating when you generated your data type, and I didn't see you check the box to generate steps for that? Is this the same thing as if I were to generate the step and then go through
Yeah,
the
it should be.
user-defined types?
Yep,
to XML
yeah,
structure?
it should be the exact same thing, but
I see.
to better follow your use case, let me go ahead and check it. So you have this checkbox that says generate steps for it.
Correct.
Cool. Yeah, give that a sec to compile. That should be good. Okay. Yeah, so then the steps here under user defined types, XML structures, note. Yeah, deserialize and serialize. This just pre-selects your type. I can come pick here and pick it here. Here it's already pre-selected. So they're the same exact step. So we come into here, and this is going to expect just text, right? It's going to need a string, and it's going to put it into my new data type. So let's go back to my tab. I'm just going to grab this as text again. And I'm going to say for constant, like obviously we could pass this data in, we could get it from a form or whatever, but somehow someone gives me this text. Let's change some of the values here just to prove. We'll say to Eric from David. The heading is fix this, and the body is XML deserialize stuff. All right. And then you always have two paths whenever we're trying to do work with, like we're relying on other technologies is really what it is. In this case, a format, sometimes it's an integration. We always give you two paths so you can handle the error intelligently. But that should just work. So it's expecting in just a string of text, and it puts it into my data type. And you're saying you're getting an error here.
Well, yeah, so I think the part of it is like I said, it's specific to y'all's settings XML file. And I think there are a couple of nested things in there. And it's like when I generate the type, it sort of doesn't want to pick up the nested piece of it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, let's try something a little more complicated then, rather than just the simple note. Let's I like our setting XML is actually a really good example. I've never tried to do this with our settings file. This will be fun. So let's create a type from XML. I'm gonna go, you guys can't see it, but on my other screen, I'm gonna go open up. And just Word is fine. All right, so this is a much more complicated XML structure. It is our entire settings file, and there should be some nested structures inside of here, right? I
Yeah,
guess
so it looks like there's one, so the one for the mail and SMTP server, it pulls that, but
Mhm.
the area that I'm getting it happen at is the endpoint definitions toward the bottom.
Okay.
Like
I
there are
wish we could.
several, like in that control instance.
Yeah. Wish I could expand here. Let's do this. Let's pull up Notepad. And then share my whole screen. No judgment of sharing the whole screen. Screen 2. All right, cool. All right, you should be able to see now.
Yeah.
The whole thing. So there's a couple. There's really no other custom headers, maybe. Has stuff inside of it. What else? I'm on version 8 too, so my XML or my
Oh.
settings XML might be a little different.
It is entirely possible. Yeah, because mine on 6 has a section for what is this called? Control instance endpoints.
Yeah.
And then inside that, it basically has a list of endpoint definitions.
Got it. Okay. Well, if you wanted to, you could. I don't know. Again, that's gonna have data in it. You probably don't want to share. I was like, you could email that to me.
I mean, I don't mind emailing it to you.
Yeah, if you don't want to try, you can send it to just Eric, eric@decisions.com.
Yeah.
In the meantime, let me play with this and see if I can get the same error. Okay, so now I have a new XML data structure, settings file test. Create a new file, we'll call this settings file deserialize. And user defined type. What is this window? What are you? Oh, that's my Zoom thing. Okay. User defined types. XML settings file test. Deserialize. Here goes down. I guess we'll just connect to the same path for now. Give it some bit of text. Deserialize the settings. Okay, let's see if we get any errors. Ah, okay. I did get an error. That's interesting. Hexadecimal is an invalid character. Hexadecimal value OXOO. What is OXOO? That a space? And it doesn't like that. Interesting.
That guy's on his way.
Cool, cool. Well, is it so real quick? Is this the error that you're seeing?
No, I have gotten that before, and I've played with the encoding to be when I get string from bytes. I think there's a couple different ways you can do that, and because I'm loading file into it from the location, and then I'm getting string from bytes there. So when I play with the encoding, usually I can get it to work.
Got it. I think I just have a special character in there that shouldn't. Yeah, there we go. That's all it was. Cool. All right, so that works. Bummer. Let's try again. And it's, the other is this is not a direct one-to-one comparison either because I'm on a new version. So it is
right.
Quite possible. All right, there's your file. Perfect. Let's try this. Okay, yeah, I see your endpoint definitions. We removed those out of the settings XML in 7.
I see. Okay.
And that's now in the web config. So let's try it anyway.
Gotcha.
XML. We're gonna call this settings file v6. Generate steps. There we go. Cool. Oh, I spelled that wrong. No points off for bad spelling, please.
Right.
All right. No. Settings file v6. Deserialize. I might have to remove those characters again. That's fine. Either way, errors like this, it sounds like if you're following a similar pattern to what I'm doing, then it should just work. It should be just fine. I was just seeing if I could recreate it quickly. Doesn't look like I can. You're going to be the extra character. Well, maybe not. Specified type was not recognized. Basically,
Yeah,
it should
this
be-
guy. Yeah, that's the exact error that I got.
Cool. All right, good. There's an error in the XML document. Basic HTTP endpoint definition namespace was not valid, and that is it's the quote, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or so when I would when I generate it, I would have thought that it would have given me another type or
Mhm.
another data structure to hold this in, because if I go into the data explorer
Yeah.
for it, it shows me those control instance endpoints, and when I drop that guy down,
There it is.
yeah, see, it's like it's there, but it's not, right? Like it,
Mhm.
because it recognizes that type as settings control instance
Hmm.
endpoint definition, not as a collection of endpoint definitions. If that makes any
Correct.
sense.
Totally makes sense. And I think this is the bad. It's trying to tell me the type, and yet it generated a different type name. It's fascinating. Okay. So cool. I mean, not cool for you, but cool for us. Yeah. Everything else looks fine. I bet. Let's try a little test. If we remove all these definitions except for the first one or the last one, right? Okay.
I bet that'll work.
I bet this works. Remove this, right? Done. Yep. That's totally it. Okay.
Right. So then I guess my question is,
Yep, there it
is there a way I can just manipulate that to say, what am I thinking? Like create another type of that and then tell that the generated data structure thing that it's a list of those other types, if that makes any sense.
I don't know of a way. I don't know of a way to do that specifically. I mean, like you could always, since it's just text, you could always like just remove this programmatically and then run it and it would work fine. But I think the bigger thing here is when we generate the XML, we need a better way to set up these defined structures that get generated, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I've done this with a JSON before, and it, like usually what it'll do is it'll recognize that there's a
Mhm.
different type, and it'll give me some like some simple data structures that it'll
Mhm.
basically give me a type of thing for each different type of thing that it sees.
It looks like it did that. Like, because there is now, if you look at the data explorer, there is a type called settings control instance endpoints endpoint definition.
Yeah.
And if I do like a create data step, I could go find that structure.
Oh, is that guy hidden somewhere, or?
Hold on, let's do the big search.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're totally right. It did create a type. I just can't
Mhm.
see it.
It's just, it doesn't, what I think the problem is the actual file itself is claiming basic HTTP endpoint definition. But when we generated the structure, we called it settings file something basic HTTP endpoint definition.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just it's confusing itself by the way we tried to automatically. Yeah, I can't even. There it is. Initialization endpoint. Is it no? Yeah, there it is. Settings file v6. It's this guy. That's the structure. It did generate the structure. right? And there it is. So there's something between
Mm,
the file itself, I think, claiming this type of structure, the XSI type. So when we pull the file in, it's saying use this type, and our deserialize step says, nope, I don't have that type. I have something called settings initialization endpoint. You're calling it basic HTTP endpoint definition.
right,
that's not-
right.
Yeah, so something's wrong there. Okay, it's a bug. I 100% think this is a bug. So let me, where's my notepad? Back up, hide all my secret things. Let me take note here because I think we got to fix that product wise. Bug around claiming XSI type. Wow. So I'll take that to the dev team as a bug, something we should fix. The workaround. It's not a great workaround, is there?
No, I thought about just creating my own type that I could deserialize to.
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
mean,
sound
that's,
fun.
yeah, I was gonna say there's probably, I can't even count how many fields in there, so that would not be the funnest thing in the world to do, but
Oh gosh, no. I wonder if this would work. Like you could just like, and I hate to suggest this because I would be mad at myself if you said this is a real solution. Is you could just replace all instances of the file. This, the XSI type string. So replace all instances of this with a blank space. And then pass that into the deserialize. I don't know if this will work. Might be too many extra characters now. Replace text output should be the input to this. I don't know. Another error. It didn't like the, yeah, it didn't like the extra character. I know. So in short, it's a bug. We should get it fixed right away. Put this back in my. But I think there's some manipulation you could do here to make it better. Oh, I did that wrong. That's a bad. What did I do wrong? Holy cow. Oh, I have this backwards. I replaced all spaces with that text. Let's try that again.
oh, I see.
All right, there we go. So that does work. So that's an option as a
Okay.
I think that's a very temporary, for lack of a better word, crappy workaround. But you could manipulate the text to remove that little XSI tag, which is here.
Yeah, I got you.
And then that would then just recognize that this is already a structure that exists and part of the definition and works.
Yeah.
But I think we need a bug to fix the XML generation to respect this node.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, I'll try that.
yeah, try that. I will and I'll get that feature request in and we can follow up with you after the call on implementing that.
Okay. Yeah, we're just trying to validate because we have people that set this up and we're just trying to like validate that they did it the right way. And if they didn't, then we can try to correct that in that settings file and then just restart the service host manager. And I could probably deal with it as a string because there's only 15 things that I'm checking in there, but I'd rather deal with it as an XML.
Yep, I 100% agree. Okay,
cool. All right, appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, you bet. I'll see what we can do to get that fixed too.
Cool.
Wonderful. Man, I'm 0 for 2. Normally I can solve problems. This is like a stump Eric day.
Oh, that was a toughie though.
Yeah, that's all right. Just means I got to go fix the product. Well, cool. I haven't seen anything coming in the chat unless I missed it. But what else? Anyone else have things they want to ask or?
I got one more for you, Eric.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is there a way or maybe a step I searched and I couldn't really find it to, let's say I have an Excel file and the the user basically wants to put in column A like the name of something, and in column B put its value, right?
Okay.
So is there a way to like load that and transpose it to where it's more like what a CSV would look like? Does it make sense? Like
Maybe.
it's almost like instead of having column headers and saying, you know, the header in column A is like a coaster shape, and that list being circle, square, oval, whatever down the list. Like the way they want to give it to me is transposed, because there's not going to be any more than one value, right? So say like in column A, I say, okay, here's my item coaster shape, right? And then in column B, its value is square.
Got it. So the XML would look like this.
Yeah, the workbook, well, but there would never be more than one coaster shape, right? Like the next thing
Okay.
would be coaster color, and that would be like, I don't know, red.
Okay, yeah. And then it would be, coaster material, wood, or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to take, so how does the data currently exist in like,
So it would look like that in in the workbook, right?
okay.
But I basically want to bring that, I want to bring that in and read those values. Like I want to be able to say the coaster shape is a square.
You want
right?
to put this to a defined type where
And yeah, exactly. I want to get that to an object.
but it's not the columns that are the type definition, it's the rows.
Correct.
Cool. This is actually the second time I've heard of this relatively recently. And so I don't remember the solution, or if we were going to look at fixing this, but like horizontal inputs of a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically if I like copy and pasted it and paste it as transpose, right? Like,
Right. Yep. I don't know. Where's all our Excel steps? Do we move them?
thought it was in integration and CSV Excel. But
Yeah,
that's how it is in my version.
I'm on 8 and we redid the whole. I probably should just know these things. Let's just find them. Where's my Excel steps? Convert Excel to CSV. Where do you exist now? You are in the toolbox under data. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, let's go look at the steps we have. Data, Excel and CSV. Okay. So the ways to import data from Excel and CSV is like CSV to list mapping, and then the inverse, list to CSV mapping. But when you do that, okay, so if I say import Excel or CSV, or I like list to CSV mapping a little bit more. Yeah, it's only, there's no way.
It expects them in the
Expects the header.
Yeah. The only way, I guess the way that I thought about it was I'm basically going to bring in my worksheet or my workbook with like with a load file. And then I'm going to push that into a for each Excel or CSV. And then I'm going to the way I did it was create a data pair, add it to a list, and then take data pair to object of a predefined like object that I create.
Yeah, you're right on track with the way I would solve it, but that's how you do it. I'm just trying to think if there's a better way. I know there's already a feature request in to allow, I don't know what the term is, but like horizontal structures to be imported from Excel and exported back to Excel. Gotcha. Because there's another customer that like all of their calculations are done in Excel, and they wanted to import them, but they're all done like it's horizontally. I don't know, transposed, like what's the word there?
Yeah,
but,
that's how I would think about it.
Yeah, like most people think of it as columns are the definitions and rows are the data, but they want the first row to be like the implementation of the definition, and the second row to be the data. Oh, that's not what we got. Where'd you go? What are you? Start out. Yeah, everything's going to be row based. That's the problem. Okay.
Cool, no worries. I'm just gonna roll with that for now. I
Yeah.
was just wondering if there was something I was missing or unaware of or something.
Nope, you are correct. There is no great way to do that currently. I do know it is a request though. So let me, again, as just a follow-up, let me see what that looks like and where it's at.
Sure.
Where'd my note? There it goes. First row definition. Would they have more than one row there? Sorry, I'm gonna ask you again. Like, would I then on the next one say, well, row or column C is going to be, circle blue metal, so on and so forth.
No, it's literally just
Just okay.
like it's from I guess what am I thinking of? I guess an end user perspective, right? Like they want to see it up and down rather than across columns, because there could be, I don't know, 100 of them, and they just don't want to scroll. They just want to go down a list and say, here's
Yep,
my
yep.
thing, here's the value, right?
Yep, cool. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Isn't there a way to do like transpose it here?
Yeah, you just copy and paste it and paste special as transpose.
Is that what it is? Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. I just want to play with it now. Paste special, transpose. Yep.
Yeah.
Even if we could add just a step here, that's just a function of like transpose data, that would work.
Exactly. Yeah.
You create a file, transpose it. We don't, we obviously don't have that. Okay. I think it's a quick win. I think we can add that. And I know it's not the only request, so I'll go check on it.
Solid. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. I think it's under data. Oh, thanks, Andrew. Sorry. I was sitting here fumbling around trying to find things, and my co-panelists told me where the steps were. Appreciate it, bud. All right, cool. What else? Anyone else have questions? I don't see much in the chat. Anyone else want to come off mute and ask things? Have me click around and do fun stuff.
Yeah. Hi, Eric. This is Aishwarya. I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a page where I have a tile that is created. So I have created a grid inside a page, and then I've created a tile inside a grid.
Okay.
So now my requirement is that whenever user clicks on that particular tile, I want to have that grid highlighted. So I want to have some action on top of that. So I was just wondering if I can, use any JavaScript anywhere where I can utilize that action, have my CSS added, or
Gotcha.
That's my.
Okay. We need a page. I don't know, but just mainly just because I'm not good with JavaScript. Grid tile highlight. But there is some cool tile behavior we've added in version 8. So let me see. I'm gonna do a simple. I want it up here. A simple tile.
Yeah. So we are using version 6 here.
Okay. Cool. So this may or may not work for version 6 too. I don't like base content. Chromeless. Okay, so we have a tile. I just need a tile that does nothing. All this is going to do is give me back like my name. Cool. You do have tile action types, which allow you to do things like open a URL, navigate somewhere in the portal, like give you entity actions, run a workflow, or push data from whatever the output of the tile is to some other control. And then you can add data here. I think we might be able to leverage that last one to like update another thing on the page. The only problem is, oh man, we're fixing this in later versions of 8. There's no way to like run visibility or validation rule logic, like an active form flow or visibility validation logic on a page. So even if I click this and I update some selection bus, I don't know of a way to then change the highlight of this on click. Now, potentially, since that does update this, we could change the color of it. But I think it would stick. I think there's potentially some really weird workarounds here. Isn't there a way to say update on selection must change? Yeah, okay. Let's try this. I'm gonna prototype something very quickly to see if I can get something to work.
Mhm.
And there most likely is a way to do this with JavaScript. So if we have the border color as currently nothing, okay, yeah. And the background color is just blue. Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to do something fancy here. Selection bus is gonna change, which then should run this. And then I gotta do some fancy like get data from URL, right? No page variable, get page variable. Okay. Test, expected type is string. Okay, when we push this, database name is test. Test. All right, bear with me. I'm not explaining what I'm doing because I don't know if this is gonna work. We're gonna run not a rule. We're just gonna bring it equals string with the output of the page data. Okay. If it's test, we highlight it. If it's not test, we don't highlight it. And then we output the tile data. Okay. And then I want to change the border color to be some like red. What I think might work here is like I click the tile, right? And in order to perform that highlighting action, it sends the data up to the selection bus. The selection bus here is say check and update my tile, which then recognizes that I've clicked it and highlights it red. I don't know. I have no idea if this will work. This is kind of fun. If this doesn't work, then yeah, there might be a way with actual proper like JavaScript and CSS, which I am not great with. I'm just trying to work. Manage page. I gotta display my page, which is there. So click, highlighted test. Okay. I didn't see it highlight red like I was hoping. Bummer. I think I can get that to work though. But again, I feel like this is a little bit of a wonky workaround, right? Oh, I don't want the profiler. I want the debugger. All right. If I say on, I click fresh, play. Okay. It did. It went down my right one. It just didn't color it red. Cool. Oh, all right. I'm getting off the weeds. So in short, I'll go ask people who are much better at UI design than me to go see if there is something around the way like JavaScript, because JavaScript controls can take inputs just like other controls. So you could do something similar where in the flow, when the person makes a selection on a tile, you could update a variable. Then that variable could be pushed to JavaScript to highlight it. Why my border? Oh, because I don't have a border width. That would be why, I think. We can even change it here to prove that this works. Do that. All right, let's try again.
Yeah.
So test page, click it. Hey, cool. I kind of faked it. And then
Yeah.
if I clicked another tile, I would change this variable, which would remove, it'd be test2 or it'd be like tile2. So you could fake it. It's not, I don't think that's great. I think the design of that's a little cumbersome. So one thing that will fix this though, that I kind of teased, in version 8.4 is what we're targeting. So a couple versions from now, a couple months from now, pages are going to behave a lot more like forms. So right now, when you run a form, you have the ability to run what's called an active form flow to source data, to define data, to run fetches, to do things and push it into a form, which means that there's one call, there's one backend call that sources all the front end UI data that you need. We don't have that on pages. We're going to add that to pages, where you could set up under the page properties of a flow or a data model that you could go say, when my page loads, go run all these variables and source the data back into my page, which then you could do things like visibility. You can hide and show tiles, or in our case, coloring, highlighting of tiles. And so I think this will be solved with that feature release. That's going to be much easier to do. So you can do it right now. It's a little bit of a workaround. But you might be able to do it even better with CSS. So explore that a little bit, and we can dive deeper on another call if that's something we want to do. But also know that in later versions of 8, and this should work for 6, I think, maybe not 6. We'd have to double check. I don't know if version 6 has tile selection bus updates. I know version 7 does. But hopefully that at least gets you moving in the right direction. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So, so now as I click on this button, so there's an action that will be triggered. So I'll probably open a form or anything like that, that I'll configure in my flow. So now consider that I have 2 or 3 tiles over here. And as I click on each tile, I want only that particular tile to be highlighted.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could still do that. What am I trying to do? I totally lost my train of thought. Where's my page? There it is. Okay. Yeah, so if we had more tiles here, we'll call this. Oh, I just want to copy, do nothing. Yeah, hold on. Can I just go copy my do nothing tile? It's hidden. There it is. I think so. The way that I've set up this flow is I say go get the selection bus called test, and then if it equals test, we color it. So all you do is on your second tile flow, my do nothing 2, is I would just change that variable. So I'd say when we select tile 2, we update the value to be test 2. And then if we fetch it and it's test 2, then we highlight it. And I think that's really all we'd have to do. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing here is that if you click on a particular tile, that is where this flow is getting triggered. And then that is when it is getting highlighted. So when you go back and click on something else on the screen, or probably when you click on any other tile on the screen, that trigger is not happening with the tile 1. So how is it that we are removing the highlight? That is what.
You only want it highlighted while the form is running.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that I don't believe we can do. So that would be a new feature request. So yeah, I'm just doing it just to highlight the thing. Oh, I didn't actually pick. No, come on. There we go. Yeah, so like I'm saying, you clicked Eric selected, you clicked Joe. Oh, it should have Joe selected, but it didn't. Eric selected, Joe selected. So mine here is when you click off of the item, it goes and did say test 2. Oh. Yeah, that should have worked. That's all right. I can play with that later. So your desired behavior, just to make sure I understand this correctly, is you load a form here. And I guess that's the other problem. We can't do more than one action type. And let's just pick any flow. Let's pick the, sure. For a minute. And this is do nothing to, right? Yeah. So you click this and it lets it flow. So while this form is open, you want like Joe highlighted in the background, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I'm done with the form, then Joe is unhighlighted.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I totally misunderstood the requirement. Bummer. No, I think that's just a feature request. There might be a way to do that like really fancily with some JavaScript controls that source data back to here that highlight the, the background color. But that's something we'll look at. So let me take notes here.
Okay. So as part of my requirement, at least, I just wanted to know if where can we embed JavaScript in case if we want to.
Oh yeah.
So now that yeah.
Okay, I'll keep going.
So now I see that when you click on the first tile, we are highlighting it, and we have that we can probably have an ID in the merge HTML text, and then we can give an ID to it, and then a form opens, and upon clicking that, if that ID can be fetched upon clicking on OK, then maybe we can unhighlight it. That is the logic that I'm considering. I'm not sure if that is valid one.
Yeah, like at a very high level, yeah, that sounds like it would work well. But that's something. Let's what we can do. We can schedule a follow up with people who are much better at this than I am, and let's just give you like better proper advice. So what we'll do is I'll open up a support ticket, but I'll follow up personally and make sure we get the right people on that call to see how we advise this. It might wind up being a feature request we add to the product. But I think you're on the right track. I think there's a way to do this. So I will let me send you an email as soon as this call's over.
Sure. Okay. You were about to show where we are, where we can do that JavaScript, right?
Yeah. So JavaScript you can do on forms and on pages. And the way you first update them is you come into like the create form action and you can say JavaScript control. There's a bunch of different options here. One of them is a page control. So when you're doing JavaScript in decisions, you can do a control on a form that like takes some action, the user takes action on, for controls that just represent and show data, scripts that run in the background that aren't actually shown to the user, but you can run JavaScript scripts. Is that the right word? Anyway, and then this is just CSS. One of those is a page control, which allows you to upload your JavaScript file and then push in some design time data and like source that into the JavaScript and then render it on the page. Again, that's my high level understanding. It is documented a little bit. So if you head to documentation and look up the JavaScript controls, you'll see some examples here and kind of how it works. I don't see one for pages. Maybe it's hidden. Page component, that's the glossary. Yeah, that's what I'm about. Okay. But those are the places where you can add JavaScript. Is on those forms, those types of controls, and then on a page.
Again, they are on the forms and not on the pages. So how will that be possible? I was just wondering.
Well, so JavaScript can be on a pages. It could be a control on a page as well. So and this is where we'd have to check with the product team. I think you can source data into that page control from like the selection bus, like I was doing. And so you could have interactions update your JavaScript control and do things like the highlighting and the things that you're trying to do. Again, unfortunately, it's just not my great area of expertise. So let's follow up with the right people and I'll make sure we get on it. Let's just set up a call and we'll set up and look at it together.
Sure. We'll do that. Yeah. Thanks for that, Eric.
Yeah, sorry, I wish I could help you more. I'm not good at UI.
Not a problem.
But we'll get you the right answers. So All right. For everyone else, thank you for joining. I know we're right up to 1 o'clock here, so I have a bunch of follow-up items. Expect a few emails from me. We'll get you all going. So let me take one quick note here. And yeah, thank you for your time. Hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow at tomorrow's lunch and learn, or the next time you want to join. So have a great day, everyone, and expect a few follow-up emails from me.